Hello, Andy Graham of Hobo Traveler. I'm in Guatemala on Lake Atlan, one of the world's most beautiful lakes. Perfect climate. It's at 1,500 meters in the tropics. This is what you want to look for. Okay, I was having a good time today. I was working on this travel book I'm writing, and I'm trying to define some of the reasons why people go live abroad. I mean, there is no good reason, there is no bad reason. It's kind of a lifestyle change. But I don't really want people to think that I'm always a proponent of living abroad. Although I would never live back in the United States again, just because I think it's kind of crazy. But what I was trying to define, there's a new trendy term called an economic refugee. I first heard it a couple years ago from my friend Chris. Chris S. He's on Hot Spring Freak or something. I don't know. You can probably find him on he's a member of the website hobotraveler.com. And I did a couple interviews of him. I did interview him on YouTube here on Panama. He's actually here right now. But he first mentioned it, and I thought, economic refugee, economic refugee. I kind of didn't like the term because refugee sounds like, I don't know, like I was fleeing. And the truth is, a refugee is a person that's kind of put between a rock and a hard place. I've seen refugees in different countries. I was kind of helping my girlfriend in Ba in Ivory Coast to flee Ivory Coast to come to Ghana when the place worked out as, I was kind of in a war zone a year or so ago. Okay, in a war zone, you're put between a rock and a hard place. If you want to live, you got to leave, right? I was dating a girl in United Nations High Commission for Refugees in Mexico, where people from Guatemala fled to Mexico and things. But they were there for 15 years. I said, well, you're not really a refugee. But okay, the idea is that there's something that is unacceptable in one place, and you need to move to another place. I mean, it can be for all sorts of reasons. It's not as simple as saying it's not always as simple as just saying it's dangerous. There's also a whole bundle of reasons why they become refugees. And the worst case is when there's a war breaks out and everybody escapes so that they can do it. My girlfriend, Ba, in Ivory Coast, I wanted her to escape because she was such a beautiful girl. I knew that when the Islamic warriors were coming towards her and she was a Christian, she was going to be first on the list for rape, I guess. So I helped her get out of the country. Over to Ghana. She stayed until the war kind of went down. Okay, economic refugee. This is a trendy term right now in the United States for people. Okay, I was laughing because I go, wait a minute. My website's Hobo Traveler. I think that defines a hobo. I mean, I was like having this a spiritual moment, this enlightenment. I was excited because I go, oh, it's a trendy way of calling them a hobo. It's a trendy word for hobo. Okay, what is a hobo? I'm going to tell you this. People get the word hobo totally mixed up, and I kind of always been living with this drudgery of dealing with people calling me a bum when I'm not a bum. Okay, a hobo is a person. Gotta go shut the light off for this guy. Every day he comes up and he shuts the light out. So, okay, a hobo is a hobo is a person that travels to work. A tramp is a person that travels and won't work. A bum is a person that will neither travel or work. Okay, now, in layman's term, they call bums hobos, okay? And it's a small jump between a tramp, a hobo, and whatever. A person, the way I would explain hobo is a person that was in the Depression. Okay, right now we got a recession. It should have been a depression in America. Should have been a world depression, and they paid trillions of dollars to stay out of it. Okay, there's people that have not worked for 2 or 3 years. Now, one solution to this is to move to another location. So what a hobo did is they got down and out, and they got farther down in the Depression, and they would jump on a train, go to another place, and look for a job. Now, I would assume in America, and I'm hoping, and I'm praying, and I'm begging in a way, is that people in America realize that you don't just sit there and hope the government bails you out. What you have to do is find a place where there's jobs and maybe move there. That's what a hobo did. Hobo would get on a train, take the cheapest form of transportation, and go to another place to find a job. So at the, after the Depression, like, 50% of the jobs were farm labor, or there's a lot more farm labor, less industrialization, and people would go to get on construction jobs. Maybe they'd go work on the Hoover Dam, all these kind of things. There was all these construction jobs. Even if you listen to Obama closely, he was talking about having all these road projects for this $1 trillion or $2 trillion or $10 trillion. I don't know. I haven't been in the United States. I didn't really watch the news, but I do know that the money was designated to do construction projects or make work projects, right? Okay. So think of it again. A hobo is a person that travels to work. A tramp is a person that travels and won't work. A bum is a person that will neither work or travel. When I first started traveling, I didn't have enough money to continue to travel. So it was really essential to me that I find a way to make money. Okay, right now, I wanted to continue to travel, and my dream was to continue to travel. So Hobo Traveler made total sense in year 2000 when I found this thing. I was sitting in the Panama hostel, the Voyager hostel, and I was trying to figure out a way to make money. That's all I was thinking about. How to make money, how to make money, how to make money. And so the word hobo, and I read it, hobo is a person that travels to go find work. That's me. Okay. Well, an economic refugee is a person that's put between a rock and a hard place. I have a friend of mine, that took a big beating on the internet and actually had to move out of New York City to one of the suburbs because the cost of living was too high. Now, if you watch the movie, there's a really good movie that I just watched, I think it was in 2011, called The Exotic Marigold Hotel. In the movie, one couple was living in England, and they were told they had to live in this, kind of not ran down, but an old person's home, and they moved to India so that they could live in what they thought was a high-end hotel. Well, it's a little shell game going on here where it really wasn't quite that simple, but they ended up, one of the guys stayed there. But the idea was that you don't have enough money. So you could be, say, in New York City, and they say the rent's, $1,500 a month, and I say, why don't you move to Indiana where you can get a place for the same quality, exact same quality, for $600, okay? So the standard of living. So an economic refugee is a person that's not they're put in a place where they have no choice. They're on, say, suddenly you're forced to retire, and your income goes from $5,000 a month to $2,000 a month. And you're living in New York City, and you haven't saved up enough money, and you didn't. So as soon as you retire, you figure out, whoa, my mortgage payment, they did this crazy thing where they loan a person 60 years old, they loan them $200,000 for a house because they can't discriminate against age, and they got a payment of $2,000 a month, and now they got $2,000 coming in. They're between a rock and a hard place. They have to do something. And guess what? As we get older, we can't move back to mom and dad. Okay. So what do you do when you're not moving back to mom and dad? You may have to move to a place like a hobo. You travel to find work. A person that travels to work, okay, or travels to live within their means. Okay, so an economic refugee is a person that has to flee a place where it's expensive and go to a place where it's cheaper, economically more feasible. Now, contrary to what some of you think, y'all think I'm a bum. I'm always amazed. I made over $100,000 in the United States when I was working. The reason why I started traveling is because my life was 10 times better. The reason why I won't give it up is because I live on a, for what I earn right now, I'm like in the equivalent of earning, say, in a way, the freedoms that I have, it's like earning $250,000 in the United States. So you can take a $30,000 income or a $50,000 income here in 85% of the planet. Contrary to what you think, this is not the underdeveloped world, this is the normal world. 85% of the planet is average. They earn $10 a day and they do it. Like, 4 billion people probably on the planet earn less than $10 a day. The overdeveloped countries, which is 50%, 15 to 20% of the planet, which is Europe, Australia, Japan, and America, a small percentage of the world is overdeveloped. So if you come to the 85% of the planet, the rest of the place, you've earned money in the developed world, and you spend it in the normal planet as an economic refugee, you're suddenly able to have a quality of life that is the same as what you're expecting on less money, because the amount of, when you have labor at $10 a day, you can have servants, luxury. I consider myself a very rich man. I mean, you guys, I'm always baffled because as soon as I say the word hobo, they don't understand. It's just a fun thing, guys. This is not, I never needed to go, I lived very, very cheap for 4 or 5 years, but the truth is, I wasn't a refugee. I made a choice to do this. I made a choice. I never needed to flee. I was earning large amounts of money in America, and I can always go back to America and earn large amounts of money. And sometimes I'm tempted to go back for 2 years, earn $200,000 or $300,000, and come back and just sit. Okay. But the fact is, some of you are between a rock and a hard place, and you need a solution. And if you can stop buying things, if you can stop signing your name on contracts like Verizon or AT&T, the phone bill, the electric bill, the telephone, the car, the contracts, all these things. The Bible actually told you not to borrow money, but guess what? Everybody just keeps signing their life away. Seems to be American conspicuous consumption. You don't have to go wrong. But if you really want to, feel like a rich person and you're willing to live without debt, because it's really hard to get a loan over here. That's not true. A friend of mine got a few loans in Singapore. I was laughing. He was borrowing like $50,000, I think. As soon as he got residency, they'd loan him like $50,000, $100,000. Well, the point is, the cost of living is 1/10. I'm living in a hotel room right here, which is to me wonderful. Now, it's not the same as America. It's not as clean. It's not as simple. But I'm in paradise. I don't care what you say. The climate's perfect here. I'm living a life that is the lifestyle I want. It's not for everybody. But for some of you who are economic refugees, I live in a room for $150 a month. Got high-speed internet, color TV. Only about 3 stations in English here. All the things I want. I got a balcony with a hammock. I can look out at the lake. It's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And I can spend my whole time playing. I'm rich in time. I'm not sitting around, and I'm safe. I don't feel... I was laughing the other day because I realized I'm not ever worried about medical problems anymore. Why? Because I can go to a doctor for $8 or something like that. I can go buy medicine at the pharmacy for $5. I can have any kind of medicine I want, real simple. I'm not worried. No, rightly so. If I got some kind of major catastrophe, am I safe? Now I came from a good family, so at the end of the day, I can always go back to the United States and have an exit strategy where I can rent an apartment in America for $500 and live in Orland, Indiana, in a very economically affordable state, and live on my Social Security when I retire, and I'm going to be fine. I don't know. Obama didn't. He supposedly gave me universal health care. I think what he gave me is a rock and a hard place. Either I buy insurance or I'm breaking the law. I don't know. I haven't figured this out because it's not understandable. But for you economic refugees, there is a choice. You can go live in a country where your money goes 10 times farther. And it's not just that simple, but you can always, in these places like this, you can actually go down to living on $100 a month. I was living in an apartment in Togo with this girl for $20 a month. That's what she paid. She paid $20 a month for her apartment. I mean, you know what it feels like to be able to live within your means so easy that it's just ridiculous? That's me. I can live within my means without even thinking. Okay, for you economic refugees having fun here, maybe you're a hobo, but I know you're not going to call yourself a hobo. I'll call myself a hobo because my self-esteem says I'm rich and I don't really care. Okay, Andy Hobo Traveler on Lago Atalan. There's about 8 of these places at 1,500 meters. Boquete, I think Medellin, Vicabamba. This is where paradise really starts. No heat, no air conditioning, no heating. You don't need either one because the temperature is always nice. You may need a life jacket once in a while. Okay, bye-bye. Have a good day.